a baddie. Like they want somebody who is like a 10 and 10 for sure. Somebody who's well kept, well put, dresses well, speaks well, articulate, great conversation, can be in a crowd with anybody and be able to be put together.
You just described a man.
I described a man?
Yeah, so the question was, what do you think a man that makes over, I think she said $650,000, she wants a dude that makes over $650,000. What would that guy want in a woman? And basically that was her description, you know, a baddie, well articulate, blah, 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 blah. And Kevin here says, well, you just described a man. So let's get into this, folks. Hey, it's the Broke Capitalist coming at you. And I've been doing this thing recently that, yeah, I'm kind of late to the Kevin Samuel scene, sorry. But, you know, he definitely makes some, I don't want to say controversial. I think what's controversial about him is his delivery. A lot of people, especially women, aren't used to being spoken to in such direct, I would say masculine, not toxic masculinity, but just in a masculine way. Here's a man, he's been, I don't want to say forceful, but assertive. There you go. Not aggressive, but assertive, right? And that's, we've been, as a society recently, we've been told that that's toxic masculinity. But I feel the need to...
You're describing the prototypical type.
Clarify some things. Because the title here is, why are men intimidated by women like me? And I don't think that men are intimidated by women like her. I just don't think they're attracted to women like her and her attributes. We'll get into them in a minute. But I did my last video and I was talking about how America, or the West, if you want to put it that way, has destroyed femininity. And couple that with the rise in inflation, it has ended America. Right? So everything, I'm going to go over this real quick, but everything I preference comes from a value, if you want to say a value statement, right? Historically, America's values were based on individual freedom, individual responsibility, and a reality that life is hard and often unfair. That has been eroded to current day, where at least Gen X on down, and the further down you go, the more these values have changed. Where, you know, me, my parents, their parents, all the way back through slavery, whatever, there was a belief system in equal opportunity, right? That was a merit system, a capitalist system. Now, more so than ever before, there's more and more people in the West, in America, that we're leading the charge, or maybe Canada. People are believing in equal outcomes, and that has destroyed the fabric of America. I believe we're just looking at a corpse right now, right? Kevin Samuels and people like him were kind of alluding, well, they're the doctor saying you have cancer and you got 4 weeks to live. Basically, I think I'm the mortician. Basically, it's over, right? So I want to address this. I'm coming to you as a person who believes it's over. We're going to go through a lot of hell before this gets better. But when we do get better, there's certain to get back to a belief system of individual freedom, individual responsibility, a reality that life is hard and often unfair. That's what made America great, right? That foundation made America unique and great. We got to realize what we lost, right? And one of the main things we've lost is femininity in our society, right? And so I went to the social bot, the left-leaning social AI bot, ChatGPT and I look, what's the definition of femininity, right? So this one gives, femininity is a set of qualities, characteristics, and behaviors traditionally associated with women. We even questioning that today, right? Often considered to be gentle, nurturing, empathetic, compassionate, and emotionally expressive. It encompasses a wide range of traits and behaviors, including, but not limited to, physical attributes, mannerisms, communication style, and values. Then it goes on to give that left leaning. However, it's important to note that the definition of an expression of femininity may vary across cultures and over time, and should not be restricted to a narrow or prescribed set of characteristics. Funny how throughout human history, for the most part, you know, people on the left will pick out a tribe or two here that existed for 300 years over the course of human civilization, where it was a matriarchal society, right? In general, femininity has been the same, right? And I feel that we, like Gen X, was probably the last generation where femininity was the norm. Like you ran into, and trust me, that's died out. When I say Gen X, I mean when I was a kid, and you ran across a not normal, just a regular woman. I don't care if she was working, she was a housewife, she was a grandmother, she was 16. There, she oozed femininity. That's gone. Sorry, I hate to tell you, that's gone. And I'm gonna show you why, because I'll show you Jane Kennedy, so the old heads know who this is, black, white, Asian, whoever. She was on for all y'all women screaming, there's no opportunity for women in Hollywood or whatever. She did Monday Night Football. All right. And she won Miss Ohio back in the day. Right. So I don't care about the content. We're talking about the mannerisms, communication styles.
New caffeine-free tab. If you're going caffeine-free, this tab, this taste is for you.
Who's had a tab lately? Yeah,
and now she's a tab girl and says, you really drink that, don't you, Jane?
Absolutely. Even before I started working with Coca-Cola.
Oh, you really did?
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid growing up, my mom lived on Coca-Cola. And when I signed my contract with them, I told them, I said, you don't know how good this makes me feel, because I remember 6 years old, my mom used to say, okay, go to the store, buy me a new 6-pack of Coca-Cola.
Boy, yeah, well, they probably give you a bonus for that. They may give you a bonus for this interview so far. We're glad you're here, though. Oh, how do you describe yourself, Jane? Because you do so many different things. Somebody says, what do you do?
Well, I have always looked at my career as not being just an actress. When I first went to Hollywood, I wanted to go out there and try my best at being an actress. And, I never dreamed that success would be so great for me. I've had a very good and blessed career. However, as a Black actress in the industry, there are not that many parts. So I've always felt that I would diversify my career as much as possible. I sing, I dance, I have the exercise programs. I have a line of exercise wear on Butterick labeled.
Yeah, you're heavily into your own business now, aren't you?
Yeah. And I started my own production company because I wanted to stretch out into different avenues, and I don't believe in just sitting and waiting for the telephone to ring, for someone to offer me the opportunity. So I create a lot of things. I'm the one that...
Well, she just destroyed that narrative there. There's never been opportunities for Black actresses, whatever.
Went to Coca-Cola, and I said, I'd like to be
you went to them?
Yeah.
Though, you were a Miss Ohio at the age of 18, and then when you married your husband, shortly after that, you got into acting and so forth. And people have always seen you as a very glamorous, beautiful
Well, I
woman.
was doing acting before I got married.
Even before you got
married? Oh, yeah. I was acting in junior high and high school with the programs there, and I started doing television commercials in Cleveland before I even graduated high school.
Has it ever been a burden to be as beautiful as you are?
Well, I don't really think about it that much. A lot of times when I walk different places, as a matter of fact,
Jane Kennedy was one of the best around. I don't know if she's still alive today, but she undisputed heavyweight champ as far as good looks went. And there's a humbleness to her, a genteel, if you may say. That was common. It wasn't because she's beautiful, objectively speaking. Like, you're not going to find somebody, I don't care if you're in the Klan, Ain't no Klan member gonna be like, she butt ass ugly, right? She looks good, God blessed her, but there was a humbleness to her that went not with her beauty, but with her, dare I say, gender. Uh, there's this, like the definition said, a communication style, a presentation style. Now she's not very emotional here, but you see her almost blush when he said, is there, do you find it problematic to be this beautiful, whatever, I'm paraphrasing. So I think I'm not even going out on a limb on this. We've lost that in society. There's no more femininity here. And of course, you'll have a lot of people blaming women for this, but I'm not blaming women for this. I'm blaming your government and the policies that our government, the politicians we've been duped into electing, the policies that they have implemented has squeezed femininity out of society, basically. And now you have a lot of, or most women, they're forced to take on masculine traits, right? Being the sole breadwinner, the head of the household. And what, well, how did that happen? Well, inflation. You say, well, yeah, eggs went up last week, or yeah, I paid a little less for my dishwashing soap last year. But I'm talking about inflation since the 70s. So you'll often hear people like Kevin Samuels here talk about the average salary for an African-American man is around $40,000 a year. I'm gonna tell you, in 1971, the Federal Reserve, I'm gonna tie this together, the Federal Reserve stopped backing our currency with gold, which allowed our government to spend like crazy on social programs and other things, which the effect of that was it took away a lot of that individual responsibility that was inherent in Americans. You know, you taught your sons how to handle a gun because that's the ultimate responsibility. You can have somebody's life in your hands. You're giving that amount of responsibility to an 18-year-old, right? Or even a 12-year-old to go out and hunt and take a life of another animal. You're not teaching your son to shoot a deer in the ankle, then shoot him in the collarbone, then shoot him no, you aim for the heart, take him out quick. That's the ultimate responsibility. That is squeezing it out of this society, right? And so today, we're gonna get I'm gonna show you what a lot of people think of men in certain aspects, right? And here's another Samuel clip.
She was a 6 on her best day. 5'6". Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. How old are you?
21.
What do you got for me?
I actually was the one who said it's based on your delivery. I think
There's so much about this I can get on. There's so much. I hate when I feel old. Like when young people make me feel old. I don't. What happened to just respect for your elders? Like this man is sitting up, dressed nice, and you're speaking to him, laying in your bed. Just the disconnect in our society of what was historically important to Americans, right? And to women. You saw when Jane Kennedy was sitting down, she had her legs crossed, her back was erect, facing forward. Now I know it's hard, social media and things have changed. And I'm not saying we got to go back to that because I don't think we can. I think it's over, but I'm just trying to show what we've lost. All right, I'm gonna keep it going.
he went off my comment, and I would think that it's just based on delivery. It's just how you say it.
How do you say you're fat?
You're oversized, you're obese, you're a little
You're fat.
unhealthy.
Obese is better? You think what?
I think that you can say you're a little on the unhealthy side. Your size isn't ideal and it's unhealthy. So
I just want, okay,
basically
hold on,
fat.
no. That's a statement of fact. Why, okay, my question is, why is it, women don't have a problem telling the man he's broke.
Okay.
Why?
I mean, men don't have a problem telling women they're unattractive.
Okay, you just answered the question with a question. That's not how we do this. I said women don't have a problem telling men they're broke. Why?
I mean, I would think I would think it's to better that man.
Okay, so when a woman tells a man the truth about a negative perception, it's for him to better himself.
But it's about her delivery, though.
Excuse me, no, man, no. I just said broke. I didn't say you're financially unattractive, you could earn a little money. I said broke.
Well, that's rude to say it like that.
Is there a dollar amount a man earns less than that makes him broke?
Excuse me, can you say that again?
Is there a dollar amount, an annual amount of money that a man has to make less than so he'll be broke? So let's say if you make $50,000, you're not broke, but if you make $25,000 a year, you're broke.
Well, honestly,
is there a number where broke starts at?
I mean, that is really.
I'm asking, is there a number, a baseline number?
No, because there's so many factors that go into that.
$10 an hour. No, I don't want to play games. No, we're not going to do. We're not going to do the find the nuance. When most people, $10 an hour, is that man $10 an hour working 2,000? So $20,000 a year, is that man broke?
Yes.
Okay. $15 an hour, $30,000 a year, is that man broke?
Yes.
$20 an hour, $40,000 a year, is that man broke?
No, I think he can sustain himself, just not a family.
Okay, so there is a number between.
There's a lot to unpack there. Now, this young lady, 21 years old, not picking on her. This is not her fault in any way. She's 21 years old and she grew up in a world that didn't value femininity, threw it out the window, right? There's nothing genteel about her. She has like this attitude, not a bad attitude, but an attitude that she has to be right. She's not, you can tell that whenever Kevin asks some of these women questions, they come back with a question because they don't want to answer the question because it'll admit that they're wrong in some way. There's no deference to the possibility that a man might be right. You know what I mean? So that's gone. But the reason I played this is because she said a man making $40,000 a year now isn't necessarily broke, but can't afford a family, right? And what our society has done, instead of, no one's looking at behind the scenes at why a man making $40,000 a year cannot afford a family. Therefore, if he gets married, he needs financial help 9 times out of 10, right? He's going to have a wife to go out, and if they want to send their kids to school with any type of clothes, right, especially living in California, you got to have 2 incomes. Well, imagine if we're going to go real primal, just real primal. There's no moral judgments. I just want to make a point here. If we did not live in an industrial society, right? Let's take it back to the 1700s. And a man and a woman had a farm. And the man and the woman split 50% of the physical labor. That farm is not sustainable especially if they have children. Meaning, when I say 50% of the labor, I mean she lifts the same amount that he does. She works the same amount of hours that he does. She chops down the same amount of logs for the fire that he does. That's not sustainable. But now in the Industrial Revolution, we don't necessarily need physical strength to sustain ourselves. We just need this money, right? But we're still the same animal, human beings, with the same drives and we should have the same value systems, but that they're being squeezed out. And one way they're squeezing them out is through inflation. I really want you guys to stick with me on this, because she said today that a man making $40,000 a year isn't necessarily broke, but can't sustain a family. And I'm telling you, in like that's the average salary of a man or whatever, especially for a black man, Kevin always talking about. In 1975, the average salary was, guess how much? And before you answer that or Google it, I recall vividly guys with average salaries, with stay-at-home wives, with 4 or 5 kids. My best friend is one of 9. His dad worked at the factory in Chrysler, had a 7-bedroom home in Detroit, brick home, nice neighborhood. He probably made a little bit more than average, but yet 9 kids and a stay-at-home wife. This is in my lifetime. This at the same time, I can go to the store, buy 25 penny candies, a Snickers bar, soda pop, bag of chips for $1. Today, you can't get any of that for $1. So inflation has played a great role in squeezing out femininity from our society, right? And more women have to lean toward the masculinity. So reason I'm bringing this up is not to jump and be on the bandwagon of Kevin Samuels here and just say you women need to get your act together and lose weight and all that. I'm trying to tell you why Kevin is telling these people this, right? So again, I'm gonna give you another example of what we've lost.
Yes, my bracelets do have the power to fend off bullets, but it's only because they're made of a very special metal. Now, does anyone else have any questions to ask?
Yes, what about your magic belt?
What I can tell you is it's my source of strength when I'm away from home.
Where's your home?
On Paradise Island, you can be sent. You can all be what you truly want to be.
How?
Well, let me tell you, if you take really good care of yourselves. Speaking of exercise, I do think I remember Maria saying something about chores.
No, she doesn't get it.
Of course not. I'll talk to you all later, okay?
Oh, hi.
Oh, please sit down, Mr. Hadley. Hope I'm not interrupting anything important.
No, not at all. JP and I were just discussing the wrestlers.
I was telling Steve that knowing when and where to strike's what's made them so successful.
Well, it sounds like it's an inside job to me.
Exactly.
Well, it's possible, but we can't even find their hideout, much less the informer.
You're a very generous man, Mr. Hadley.
Now, I'm bringing this up. Now, this is the most powerful woman in the known universe, right? Wonder Woman, for y'all who don't know. That's the original Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. Genteel. When she's interacting with children, men, there's a femininity about her that's just there. There's no attitude. Like, and of course she's acting, I get it. But what I'm saying is this was the norm. You could be Wonder Woman or a school bus driver, a lunch lady, a mafiosa's daughter. There was a femininity to you that no longer is gone. I mean, it's gone. And I think we have to come to that realization and stop fighting each other, right? You women acting like men, There's a reason for that, right? And there's another thing I want you guys to notice in this clip.
It's possible, but we can't even find their hideout.
how thin people were back then. All this stuff is related to what I have on this page. We're already dead. In the 1970s, glyosulfate was added to the food supply. But before that, they created a new strand of wheat, right, that gave a higher yield. Glyosulfate, in combination of that wheat, I did another video about this before, is correlated with basically every chronic disease we have, including obesity, right? So there's a significant change in our society, and a lot of that didn't come from just you being lazy or a woman just wanting to be a man or men just being weak and intimidated by women. No, that's not the case. And we're going to go with the original video right here. We're going to listen to this lady.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an entrepreneur building a business. So starting from scratch.
And what?
Finance.
Okay. So how are you gonna find balance in life?
That's what I'm looking to create. Still trying to figure that out. I've never had a male figure be direct with me of what I've been wrong. So I honestly feel like I've just been kind of like lost trying to figure it all out. And so that's why I wanted to jump on, because I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong.
What outcome do you want?
I do want to get married, and having children is priority for me as well.
How many children do you want?
2 children, 2 or 3.
In what state do you live in?
I live in California, Los Angeles.
Why do you want to get married?
I've always had the desire. I do realize when I was younger, it was coming from, when I look back, because I've done personal development, it was coming from an abandonment wound. I've taken time to like heal that piece. And now I realize that I do want to build something with somebody that I can have a soulmate connection and also be a power couple with. And change the trajectory of my family, because we don't come from marriage. I want to show that as an example for my kids.
How long you watch my programs or anything like that?
Off and on, not too much.
Well, what do you think I'm about to say right now?
I want you to give it to me difficult, like hard, because
I'm not feeling it. I'm just saying this: the myth of the power couple is something that was marketed to Black women. What is a power couple? That means we're partners? No.
Are
you asking me, sir, or is that a
That's a power couple.
So I agree with him here. It's something that was marketed to Black women, and I think the Black community is the petri dish, right? The urban Black community. I believe, I can't prove this, but a lot of that new food like the wheat and stuff like that was doused with glyosulfate was, hey, let's try it on the poor, because it was marketed that way. Hey, we have a new strand of wheat. It has higher yield, which makes it less expensive. There's a lot of poor people in the community that needs food, not just in America, but overseas in Africa. So the intent was really good. The effect is that Black folks start getting fatter than everybody else did. Now everybody's fat, right? So this marketing of the power couple may have started in the Black community, but it didn't stay there, right? It's America abroad now.
Oh, that means we're partners. You have 2 or 3 children. Which one?
2.
Do you want your kids to be able to go to college if they want to?
Yes.
Do you want to travel nationally and internationally with your children?
Both.
Do you want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant and married with your first child?
Yes,
you want to have to work to pay significant bills when you're pregnant.
Oh, significant bills? No.
Significant, yeah.
I would
like to pay significant bills right now. Okay. So what percentage of the family financial load do you want to have to be responsible for an entire lifetime?
I would say 30 to 40%.
Okay, 30 to 40% means if you stop working for any reason, you stop bringing in income for any reason, the family is at serious risk. Serious risk, meaning you
Now I'm gonna take it back to what I said earlier. Let's take it back to our primal days on the farm in the 1700s. Guess what that wife would have said if Kevin Samuels asked that question? Well, I would like to work about 30-40% I would like to contribute about 30-40% at the most to the labor of our household. Right? She ain't trying to lift 50% of the wood, till 50% of the acreage. She ain't trying to do that. She trying to do what comes natural, which is nurture and raise children and things like that. Now, this is not a moral statement. I'm gonna say this over and over again. If you are a businesswoman, I'm happy for you, love you to death. I'm glad you have that option. What I am saying is, for those women who say you shouldn't be a housewife, you should go after your career. No. People should have that option. If you're a woman, you don't want kids, fine. If you're a housewife that doesn't want a career, fine. But that should be your choice, influenced by you and the decisions you make. There's a influence outside of yourself that's pushing women toward careers, that's pushing families toward this power couple. And that influence is politics. The policies that are being initiated by politicians, one of the biggest influence on your decision as a woman, this invisible thing, is a slow creep, is inflation, right? I hope that makes sense. I'm gonna keep going.
You would not be able to stop working under any circumstances. Is that what you're saying?
That's a good question. No, ideally, no.
Because not working while you're pregnant doesn't line up with 30 to 40%. So what percentage of the overall family financial load do you want to have to be responsible? This is not negotiable. It has to be done.
No, I agree. I would say 10%, honestly.
Okay, 10%. How much would a man need to make in LA to afford 2 children, a wife, and himself to live an upper class life?
I would definitely say 500,000 or more.
Don't give me a more. Just give me a number.
650,000.
All right. Now, do you care if he's black or not?
No, I'm open.
Okay. You're 36?
Yes.
Have you had a serious relationship with a non-black man?
Yes, I have.
How long is it?
If that didn't slap you in the face, let me do it for you. Let me slap you in the face. $650K to do basically what people did with $12,000 back in 1975. If you don't think this has an influence on our society, you're blind, deaf, and just, stop watching CNN, stop watching mainstream, read a book. I don't know what else to tell you, but this is important because this has destroyed America. And now we're looking at what will America look like coming out of the ashes, right? Femininity is gone. Masculinity is toxic. That's the foundation, the cornerstone of a society is the family. What are we here for if it's not to protect the family, right? Like, why are you here? And these influences outside of the family has destroyed the family. It's not the women, right? It's not women just, in 1980, all women flipped this switch and said, I want to be a man. No. Men, due to inflation, couldn't afford families. That put pressure on relationships. Most relationships break up because of financial reasons. You all know that. So you put more and more pressure on the man to provide for his family, things that are outside of his control, like inflation, sending factory jobs overseas, sending manufacturing overseas. decoupling the dollar from a commodity like gold, which allows governments to spend money, take away consequences from your actions. For example, don't worry about having sex, women, right? Because if you make a mistake, get an abortion. Now, this isn't a moral judgment on abortion. It's the reality. If abortion is illegal, guess what? Women gonna think once, twice, and all day long about who she having sex with. Who's that affect? That affects the men. What do the men have to do? They gotta get their game right. In order for a man to get some, he can't be a bum. But nowadays, you can get criminals getting some, dudes who running around destroying their community, selling crack or whatever. They getting something. No, the girl giving it up so she can get some material, knowing good and well the chances of her baby's potential father will end up in jail. Now, you take abortion out, you take the right to abortion out of that equation, she gonna think twice. I ain't gonna say you'll never have any unwanted pregnancies or unplanned pregnancies. I'm saying you have a lot less. But more importantly, that foundation that made America great, personal responsibility, belief in the merit-based system, capitalism, understanding that life is hard and often unfair, right? Equal opportunity is our value, reflects our values and our belief system. That is what made America great. That is what kept families together. What has destroyed that is a belief system that everything should be fair. We should have equal outcomes. And with that belief system, we have social programs, right? Well, we need to decouple our currency from gold in order to have these social programs for women who didn't make the best choices, because the man she got with doesn't have the character to marry her after they've created a child. This is reality. This isn't a moral judgment. This is the 1 + 1 = 2, which in some instances now is racist. And if you don't know about that, go look it up. But that's why I say this is over. Just a matter of time. We're looking at a decaying corpse. It's over. What are we going to do on the other end? I'm going to say we have to ensure that we protect femininity, masculinity. We have to cherish the idea and the belief system that life is hard and often sometimes unfair. The merit-based system has brought more people out of poverty than any other system. That capitalism and merit-based system are interchangeable, not interchangeable, but they connect, right? Socialism, communism, fascism is a farce. Millions and millions of people died because of communism and socialism, right? So all due respect to Mr. Kevin Samuels, may he rest in peace. I believe he has a message that needs to be heard. However, we need to stop fighting each other, right? Men, these passport bros, I don't blame them for leaving, right? Because the likelihood of them finding this, let me see.
I'm listening.
Siri's listening to us. The likelihood of a brother finding this in modern day America is, and when I say this, I just mean femininity. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Leave the comments below. Let me know what you think. Share, and subscribe and all that. All right, y'all. That's it for today. Have peace. I'm out.
I just wanted to remind you guys to check out
thebrokecapitalist.com. You'll find some awesome books there, including a historical fantasy fiction series that I star in, called Ideas in Blood.